Good morning and welcome to KZSC News, local news from the Monterey Bay.
The UC Santa Cruz Police Department sent an email to undergraduate students and community members to inform them that on 4/20, or April 20th, a traditional unsanctioned gathering of marijuana use, there will be a checkpoint near the west side of campus. The Santa Cruz area CHP aimed to use this enforcement to reduce injuries and collisions caused by drivers under the influence. Additional UC police officers and allied law enforcement agencies will be patrolling the campus throughout the day, looking for individuals in violation of the law, including the possession of and or using of marijuana and alcohol or other drugs.
California's housing affordability crisis is the next problem for California Democrats, stated recently at a press conference in Sacramento. Assemblyman David Chu from San Francisco said that legislators passed a transportation package earlier this month and realized that the state's most significant unresolved issue was actually housing. Speaker Rendon didn't commit to putting housing issues ahead of the state's main financial program to combat climate change. Rendon stated he didn't know if housing would be on this next year's budget's top priorities. Rendon stated, "If there are different conditions, there will certainly be open to having conversations." Chu's bid to end the state's mortgage interest deduction on second vacation homes and spend that money on low-income housing instead requires a 2/3 supermajority. Rendon said he believed his colleagues could sign off on a 2/3 vote for housing.
3 LGBTQA flags have been torn down from the Garfield Park Community Church over the last 6 months. Rising vandalism was reported to have started after the electing of Donald Trump as U.S. President, according to Reverend Christopher Drury. In response to these acts, the Good Reverend has promised to raise a giant LGBTQA flag behind the church's cross, in addition to rainbow-colored LED lights that will go all night if the vandalism does not stop. Even amongst the possibility of the church being burned down, Drury's resolve will not waver.
Last Friday, April 14th, civil rights attorney Michael Haddad filed a lawsuit against the city of Santa Cruz on behalf of the family of Sean Arlt. Arlt was killed by a Santa Cruz police officer on October 16th, 2016. Here is Michael Haddad.
We filed the federal civil rights lawsuit in federal court. It's the first step in accountability for the police officers who shot Sean Arlt.
The lawsuit names as defendants all the SCPD officers present when Sean Arlt was killed, as well as the SCPD chief, Kevin Fogel.
Whenever we have evidence that there is kind of a systemic problem where the team of officers failed to follow appropriate tactics and training, then it calls into question, basic supervision and training and policies of the department. And that's a scenario where we would typically name the chief of police as well.
The lawsuit questions the idea that police had faced an immediate threat from Sean Arlt, who apparently moved towards them with a garden rake.
On the continuum of everything that is a weapon or could be used as a weapon, a rake is pretty low down there. And the law says you can't use deadly force unless you're actually facing an immediate threat, not a potential threat. And a threat doesn't rise from potential to immediate until the person is literally attacking you with something and you can't get out of the way. And Sean was never attacking anybody, and officers always had the ability to get out of the way. The one that shot him just chose to kill him instead.
Santa Cruz City Attorney Tony Condotti did not respond to a request for an interview.
Since the voter-approved legalization of marijuana in California, rundown greenhouses throughout crop-filled Salinas Valley, previously built for cut flower businesses, have been taken over by marijuana entrepreneurs. One of the largest marijuana dispensaries in the nation, Harborside Farms, has a 47-acre farm in the valley. In the coming weeks, California lawmakers will be working out whether to put a cap on the size of farms to regulate this industrialization of marijuana.
In the past 20 years, opioids have had a resurgence in the United States in a process that often begins with prescription drugs and moves towards heroin consumption. In the past 11 years, the number of deaths caused by opioid overdoses has increased by 16% in the state of California. Well, over the past 2 years, Santa Cruz County Police have reported 108 drug-related deaths, mostly from heroin. California Assembly member Susan Eggman has introduced Assembly Bill 186, which left committee late last month. The bill would allow 8 counties, including Santa Cruz, to introduce safe heroin injection sites, which would provide sanitary needles and syringes, as well as medical support in the event of an overdose. The safe injection sites would be test balloons, only open till 2022, unless the bill is amended. They are intended to test the efficacy of a safe injection site in limiting the deaths and public medical expense burden of opioid abuse. Additionally, they would be tested to see whether they are successful in turning active opioid users towards rehabilitation programs. In support of the bill, Eggman stated that, quote, "It's treating addiction as a public health issue and getting people help rather than criminalizing it," end quote. Local activist group Take Back Santa Cruz opposes the bill.
As a policy issue, the potential impacts of safe injection sites, or SIFs, are just simply too important, they're too divisive to be left up to conjecture and inferences that can't be supported and are often too credited with generating positive effects that really aren't borne out by solid empirical evidence. So we feel it's long past time for one-off initiatives such as drug injection sites, and that we see the only hope for mitigating the tidal wave of drug abuse that's occurring right now in the United States is to establish comprehensive prevention and treatment programs.
Supporters of the bill say the existing safe injection sites have been successful. Safe injection sites have been implemented in a variety of European countries, as well as in Vancouver, Canada. The site in Vancouver dropped overdose deaths 35% in the surrounding community over a 2-year period after its opening. A systematic study of safe injection sites found that, quote, "All studies converge to find that SIFs, supervised injection facilities, were efficacious in attracting the most marginalized people who inject drugs, promoting safer conditions, enhancing access to primary health care, and reducing the overdose frequency. SIFs were not found to increase drug injecting, drug trafficking, or crime in the surrounding environments. SIFs were found to be associated with reduced levels of public drug injections and dropped syringes," end quote.
More than 80 dead roosters were dumped on at least 2 locations in southern Santa Cruz County earlier this month, bearing evidence of their use in cockfighting. This discovery spurred the People for Ethical Treatment of Animals, or PETA, to offer a $5,000 reward leading to the culprits. Currently, Animal Control and Rescue run out of the animal shelter in Live Oak is conducting investigations into the many tips that have poured in following the reward announcement. Field Operations Manager for Animal Control and Rescue, Todd Stosey, said that he has an officer working full-time following up on all the leads coming in, and that several inquiries are active, most regarding activity in South County. The Santa Cruz County Sheriff's Office is currently not an active partner in the operation, with their press office saying that animal control officers have the authority to issue citations and make arrests for crimes against non-human animals. If they were to encounter an active cockfighting event or criminal activity they were not prepared to handle safely, Stosey said they would request assistance from the Sheriff's Office or appropriate city police departments. Animal fighting of many types for sport has a long history in California, including cockfights. This state was in fact the birthplace of the bull versus bear fights, which today are the reigning symbols of American capitalism. However, all these forms have been banned for decades in the state under Section 597 of the State Penal Code. There is no federal law against animal fights for entertainment, however, and remain legal in Oklahoma, Louisiana, and New Mexico. Anyone with information regarding the dozens of discarded roosters or other crimes against animals in Santa Cruz County is encouraged to call 831-454-7200. Again, the number to call to report your tips is 831-454-7200.
I'm Maelin Rose.
I'm Sydney Fishman.
This is John Malkin.
I'm Daniel Wootan.
And I'm Ty Goering. Thank you for tuning in to KZSC News, local news from the Monterey Bay.